Hey Lash Babes, have you been wanting to become a lash artist? Make sure to check out my Yoyis Plus membership where you can have access to my online courses from beginner to advanced styling, all from the comfort of your own home. You also gain access to never before seen content not found on YouTube. Members also save up to 50% off lash products with free shipping. To learn how to save money and take your skills to the next level, make sure to check the description box down below for more information. Hey Lash Babes, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a minute. If you are new here, my name is Yoyis, and on my channel I teach you guys everything you need to know about lash extensions and how to become a successful lash artist. So in today's video, I'm gonna do an updated what you need to know as a beginner lash artist. And honestly, that was like my first video when I started my YouTube channel. There's always a new person wanting to get into the lash industry and wanting to know about lash extensions. So I'm pretty much gonna do an updated video on that one. So if you guys do want to watch it, it's a little cringy. I tried watching it today just to kind of get a refresher on it, and I'm like, what the heck was I thinking? I was very timid, very shy, obviously, you know, because when I started my YouTube channel, I had to learn how to get out of my comfort zone. And watching my first videos, I'm like, wow, I've really grown so much. Okay, so first things first, what you definitely need to know as a beginner lash artist, and a couple of these tips are gonna be things that I wish I knew when I first got started in my journey, but a bunch of them are mainly tips that you guys do need if you guys do want to get started in this industry. And I know a bunch of you guys come into this thinking, oh, like I just need to learn how to place a lash and that's it. Like, no, there is so many in between details that you guys do need to know, like proper sanitation, how to take care of your tweezers, your glue, that way it works its best, how to properly place an extension. This jumps into the point that I'm trying to say, is that I highly recommend for you guys to do your research on if your state requires you to be licensed rather in aesthetics or cosmetology. If you are in the states, most to all states do require you to have a license in either or, and I highly recommend for you guys to look into it, because the last thing you want to do is take a course and then end up getting caught and get in trouble because you're not licensed and you're doing lash extensions. You can get in a lot of trouble. So just keep that in mind, that just because you think that you're gonna learn how to do lashes and start lashing from home, you do have to be careful. Jumping into being licensed, I know it's one thing thinking that it's a lot of money. I completely understand it. A bunch of you guys probably won't be able to go to school for a lot of reasons. You know, you probably don't have papers, you're probably an immigrant, you probably can't afford it. One thing I will recommend is, and I know I probably shouldn't be saying this, I'm sorry, my hair is like getting in the way. I blow dried it and it's just like not cooperating. If you can't afford to go to beauty school, one thing I will recommend, and I know I shouldn't be saying this because I can get into a lot of trouble, is if I'm sorry, it's just, you know, me being in the industry, being licensed and everything, I know how bad it can be to be working without a license, you know. But also, again, back to not being able to afford it, it's one thing to take a course, see if this is something that you want to do, and if when you're down the road, a couple months down the road, this is something that you love doing lash extensions, I highly recommend for you to actually go to school and actually start saving up to go to school, you know. Because if you've been lashing for a year, 2 years, 3 years down the road, and if you don't have your license, it can go worse for you, you know. Because if you already have paying clients, if you have people that are coming to you on the daily, regular basis, then that is something that you do have to be careful, because if you do get caught, it probably will get to the point where you're not able to ever lash again, because you're gonna get fined. And if you keep getting fined, and if they keep finding out that you're still doing lashes, you could get into a lot of trouble. So just keep that in mind if you are gonna be doing lash extensions from home without having your license. So just save up as much much as you can and, you know, go to school, you know, get your license. I will recommend for you to do aesthetics. If you don't want to learn how to do hair, you don't want to learn how to do nails, then there's no point of going to school for cosmetology to learn all of that when you're not even going to do it, you know? So go to school for aesthetics. It's a lot cheaper and it's less time, and you'll be able to save a lot more money, get in and out, and then start actually, you know, making real money being a licensed esthetician. That's like the best way to go about it. So again, if you can afford it, then at least take a course. You know, I don't want you guys coming into this thinking that you can learn it all on YouTube. No, I don't do my YouTube videos, so it takes away from you actually going and doing in-person training. I don't want you guys thinking that you guys can use my videos to start making money. No, I want you guys to use my videos to continue your education and learn as you go. But I highly recommend it for you to actually go and take a in-person training. That way that trainer can teach you everything they know, because it's one thing you struggling to learn it by yourself, and it's another thing having a mentor or a trainer there watching you and guiding you and correcting everything that you're doing wrong. That way you can go out there and actually start making good money and hit the ground running. I highly recommend for you guys to do your research and ask as many people as you can. I am a trainer, so I know the first thing when it comes to being able to teach somebody. Don't just go out there and go for the cheapest girl or the trainer, the cheapest trainer, or the lash artist next door that she's going to train you for $500 or under $1,000. Rule of thumb, any trainer that is teaching under $1,000, it's I'm not going to say anything bad about it, but in my experience, a good trainer would not undervalue their teaching and charge under $1,000, because if they strongly believe in what they are teaching and believe that they are a good trainer, they will charge over that. So just keep that in mind, that sometimes cheaper is not better. And I personally recommend for you to do a one-on-one training. If you can't do that, a group training is good. But also remember that the person that you are going with has to be somebody that will keep up with you, that will be able to answer your questions. And sometimes you just don't know it, you know, it's kind of like a risk that you have to take. But also, before you do book with them, ask them as many questions. If you are trying to book with somebody, at least on Instagram or even through an email, you found them online, then I recommend for you to ask as many questions as you can. That way you kind of get an idea of the type of trainer they are. If they don't answer your questions through email, through DM on Instagram or whatever, then they're already kind of showing you that they're not going to be there for you throughout your entire lash journey. So just keep that in mind to really do your research and make sure that the person you are going to is somebody that you can truly depend and count on in case you ever do come across some crazy stuff, you know, because being a lash artist is not easy, and I'm going to get into a little bit more. As far as choosing a trainer, make sure you're doing your research and make sure it's not cheap, because again, cheap is not better. Sometimes you end up paying for like a 4-hour $500 class and they just give you the tweezers and tell you you figure it out. I'm just here to make my money and that's it, you know. So that's why I'm saying to just be careful where you are investing your money in. Also, as far as online trainings are good if you can't afford to travel to the person that you really want to get trained by, and if you can't afford to pay over $1,000, because an in-person training should be over $1,000. That's how you know it's a very credible training. If you are paying under $1,000 for an in-person, then that's just like a red flag, you know. So online trainings are going to be under $1,000. They roughly run around from $300 up to $1,000 depending where you go to. I just recently launched a beginner online course. If you can't travel to me or if you can't travel to somebody else, then just know that there is options online. For my beginner course, I will put a link here for you guys with all the information that you guys need. And also just keep in mind that I am getting ready to launch a membership program where you guys are able to sign on for my membership and get a lot of stuff for half off, which I'm not going to get too much into detail, And by the time you guys are watching this, I'll probably have that video, so I'll link it down below. If not, just be on the lookout for that video on my membership. But you guys will be able to get online courses and products and a lot more things half off. So instead of paying $400 for my beginner online training, you'll probably pay like $150. I'm just saying, I'm just saying, because I know how hard it is to be a beginner and not know who to trust or not know where to go to or where to invest your money. I totally understand, you know. So I want you guys to take full advantage of being able to get a good online training. And trust me when I say it's good, because I invested so much time, months and months of recording and editing and just making sure that everything was on there that you guys need to know, as far as sanitation, lash placement, eyelash growth. Everything you guys need to know is on my beginner lash extension course. So again, if you can't afford an in-person training, there's online trainings available. Just keep that in mind, that when it comes to online trainings, you're not going to get the same kind of training that you would as in person, meaning that you're not going to have somebody there guiding you and fixing and correcting the things that you are doing wrong. So you're going to pretty much learn everything on your own. But the good thing about an online training is that you won't be all on your own. Like, you still have the videos to be able to know exactly everything that you need to know as a beginner lash artist, compared to if you were just watching YouTube videos, because you're pretty much just watching random videos. You know, you really don't know what it is exactly that you need to know as a beginner, you know. So that's why I created my beginner online training. That way you guys can have all the information from A to Z to be able to walk out of that training and be like, okay, like, I know what to do. You know, it seems a little intimidating, but I kind of have an idea what I need to do, you know, compared to just watching YouTube videos and just winging it. In my experience, I won't ever recommend for you to do it on your own. I won't ever recommend to do it self-taught. So being self-taught is a big no-no, because you guys will be making mistakes that you don't even know that you're making, and then you're over there wondering why you're struggling. You know, it's already hard being a beginner lash artist. It's already hard walking out of a training with all this information that they gave you, and you're still like, what do I even do? You know, because there's so much that you need to learn to be able to be a successful lash artist. And for you to try to learn it on your own, you're gonna make your job so complicated. So it's better for you to actually take a training, whether it's in person or online. That way you don't have to be sitting there struggling and wondering why you're having such a hard time. At least with a training, you will have some experience and you will kind of know what it is that you need to do, compared to being self-taught. You probably don't even realize that half of the stuff to everything that you're doing is wrong. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so now jumping into helpful tips and things that I wish I knew when I first got started, is to give it your all. Even though I did come into this industry hitting the ground running and wanting to give it my best, there were moments where I did want to give up. And honestly, I'm so thankful that I didn't, because then I wouldn't be where I am today if I did give up. So my point is that it's not easy being a beginner, and you guys will see this the more and more you guys keep practicing. It's not easy. It's already hard learning how to isolate with one hand. It's already hard picking up lashes with the other, and then working with both hands at the same time on a mannequin. It's already hard on a mannequin. So imagine on a person. Actually, it's a lot easier on a person than a mannequin. So if you've been working on a mannequin, it's time to get off the mannequin and get on a real person. I promise you guys, I know it's a little intimidating, but it's a lot easier on a real person. But I'm just saying, because the mannequin, it only has a few little lashes. A real person has a lot more natural lashes, so it's kind of intimidating. But I promise you guys, it does get easier. And trust me, if I can go from taking 12 hours on a real person to now doing a classic set in an hour to an hour and a half, trust me, you can do it too. Everybody that is a successful lash artist has been in your shoes. We all have gone through that journey, some more tough than others, because it just depends on your life circumstances and your situations, you know. But it's hard, you know. If anybody could come into this and then 2, 3, 4 years down the road are so successful, making over $100,000 a year, then you can too. It just takes a lot of time and patience and determination and hard work, and it's not going to happen if you give up within a month because it's so hard. It's not going to happen. So you do have to come into this with that kind of mindset that you're going to succeed, because if you're naturally a person that quits and gives up really fast, I'm sorry to say this, but you're going to have a hard time doing this. So I just want you guys to keep an open mind and push yourselves, you know, really push yourselves to do this, because it's not easy, you know. And I get so many comments on the daily of beginner lash artists struggling, and I totally understand it, but I've been in your shoes and I'm here to tell you that it does get easier. It does get better. You will get better. Your skills will improve the more time and the more patience you give yourself to actually learn. Make those mistakes if you need to, but just promise yourself that if you're going to do this, this is something that you're going to keep doing it, you know. Lash extensions is not for everybody. Not everybody has the patience for it. Not everybody has the time for it, you know. So this is something that you have to dedicate your time to improve and get better. So my point is if you are going to be doing this, if you are going to give yourself the time to learn, is to change your mindset a little bit. A lot of people come into this thinking that they're going to end up becoming boss babes, but no, that starts from the very beginning. You have to come into this with a mindset of entrepreneur, the mindset of a boss, because again, it's not easy. Being a lash artist, it's not just about putting extensions. You are pretty much running a business. You're dealing with clients, you're dealing with money, you're dealing with taxes, you're dealing with your schedule, you're dealing with other people's schedule, you're dealing with a lot of things, products, you know. It's so much that comes into being an actual lash artist. Unless you're coming into this hoping to get hired by a company, then obviously you do need your license for that. But if you are going that route, it definitely does help. But if you are coming into this without a license, or you are trying to do this on your own, you're trying to work from home, you're not trying to work for anybody else, just remember that you are your own boss. You are pretty much an entrepreneur, and you have to have that kind of mentality to keep pushing forward. Even me, that I'm 4 years in, it's hard. It's so hard. You guys don't realize some of the times that you guys see me fading in and out from social media is because I'm going through it, you know. And I'm not going to come on here and start crying about it, because that's just not what people do, you know. And if you guys would like to see the hardships of what it is to be a lash artist, then let me know. But I feel like I'm a very private person, even though I do show a lot here on social media. I'm a very private person, and there are a lot of things that I don't like to talk about or will never show. But when it comes to being an entrepreneur, it doesn't matter what it is that you're doing, it's hard. You know, there are times where you're not making any sales. There are times where you're not going to have a client, or a client cancel last minute, and then it just kind of messes up with your money that you were counting on, you know. So it's a lot of things that you have to come into this prepared with a mindset that you are going to make it. Because if you're coming into this just thinking, oh, I'm going to wing it, or I'm going to see how it is, or well, I'm just testing to see if this is something that I want to do, okay, that's fine. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but just keep that in mind, that it is a struggle that you're going to have to face, and it's a challenge that you're going to have to overcome. And if you don't come into this with the mindset of I'm going to make it, you're going to have a hard time. So just keep that in mind. You know, I want you guys to kind of just be aware of this. And I feel like I'm talking about this like it's such a bad thing, you know, but I'm telling you guys the honest truth. You know, I would give yourself 6 months. Give yourself 6 months to fully learn and get the hang of everything, meaning you are practicing every single day. You have a client at least a week, or even a model at least once a week. And if you are down to the 6 month mark, and if you haven't truly pushed yourself, and if you are thinking of quitting, then that's your choice, you know, that is your choice. But you can't really quit unless you have fully tried your best. And that means practicing every day, you know, learning how to make a fan, placement, you're on the mannequin, you're on a real person, you're watching YouTube videos, you're taking another training. You have to fully give it your all. And if 6 months to a year down the road, and if you still are not getting anywhere, then by all means, do what you want to do, you know, but you can't really say, oh, I tried it and it didn't work, when you didn't really give it your all, you know. Another thing that I want to talk about is business. Coming in this with a business mindset, coming into this thinking that you're going to come and make so much money and you're going to be a millionaire being a lash artist. Oh yeah, I get lots of girls who think that they're gonna come into this and on day one they're gonna start making $500 to $1,000 a day. No. I didn't start making that kind of money until this year, which is my 4th year. And honestly, it's because I wasn't pushing myself. I was more focused on content and creating content for you guys and helping you guys grow, that I wasn't focused on growing my business. And I know a lot of things changed this year. That's why I wasn't so focused on content, because it was either helping you guys grow or me growing my business. And I had to do something about it, you know? So for years, I focused on growing other people's business. On years, I helped, you know, mentor other people. Meanwhile, my business was on the back burner. And I'm not sitting here complaining about it, you know, but those are just decisions that I made for my business. And this year, I decided to focus on my business and I started launching product. I started, you know, training. I started doing a lot of things for my brand. And even though I'm still here, I'm still helping you guys. I'm still trying to create content whenever I can. I'm doing online courses. I just have so much going on. But again, I didn't come into this with that kind of mentality. So I'm learning as I'm going, and I don't expect everybody to come into this with that kind of mentality either, because a lot of people, again, they just want to see if this is something that they would enjoy doing, you know. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in a year. Maybe if you're that lucky, maybe yes, because I've seen girls come into this and within a year they're killing it. They're already doing trainings, they're traveling, you know, they're like huge in the industry. So it can happen, you know. It just depends on your hustle and what it is that you want for your business. Again, I didn't come into this thinking that. I didn't come into this, oh, one day I'm going to start training, or one day I'm going to have my own product line. I came into this to just make money to pay the bills. I came into this just trying to help out my husband or trying to get distracted over life, you know. And if that's you, that's totally fine, you know. But again, being a lash artist is a business. You have to learn how to run your business, meaning you have to have social skills, meaning you need to learn how to talk to clients. You need to learn how to run your money, meaning that you're not taking all this money and just spending it the same day. You need to learn how to do your taxes, and obviously a lot of those things won't be able to happen for you if you're not licensed, because you can't register your business if you're not licensed. So just keep that in mind if you are coming into this. You know, you can't buy a car if you're working under the table because your business is not legit. You know, you can't buy a house if you're working under the table because you have no way to show that you are making that kind of money, you know. So if you are going to come into this thinking that you're going to be a boss babe or a boss without license and thinking you're going to make so much money, it doesn't happen that way, because you do have to be a legit business, meaning your business has to be registered. You have to have an IEN number. You have to have a business bank account, and all that comes from you being licensed. So if you're not licensed, just remember that you can't have that. I know it sounds like a huge headache, but trust me, once you get into it, don't try to overwhelm yourself with everything. You know, just go day by day, try to handle as much as you can and do the best that you can. You know, if you truly want to succeed, you have to come in with the business mindset, meaning you have that kind of mentality that you're gonna make it no matter what, meaning that when times get rough where you can't seem to pick up a lash, or you can't seem to make a fan, or you can't seem to build up your clientele, and you are struggling to make some kind of profit back from it, then you have to fight to the end. And I know it's a lot easier said than done, but trust me, if I can make it, so can you. If a lash artist has been here for 10 years, if she can make it, so can you, because we've all been in your shoes. We've all been a beginner before, and it just takes a lot of courage, honestly. It takes a lot of determination. It takes lots and lots of patience. And if you don't have patience, if you're the kind of person that doesn't have patience, you're gonna learn to have patience, because first of all, you're dealing with people. You're trying to please people because you're trying to make them beautiful according to what they want. So you kind of have to be a people pleaser, but with a backbone, because you have to learn when to say no. I know I kind of been dragging it, so I might end up cutting this video a little bit shorter, but as a beginner, there's one thing that you are going to struggle with, and that is timing. And I do have a separate video all about this, so if you guys are interested, I'm going to have that video there for you guys, link down below, so you guys can go check it out, because I know this is one thing that you guys are going to struggle with a lot. Timing, and timing is like the biggest headache, especially as a beginner, because you're already struggling how to place, you're struggling how to isolate perfectly, you're struggling with how to make a fan, you're struggling with everything that it takes to be a lash artist, and to expect to do a full set in an hour or 2 hours, I don't want you guys to put that kind of burden on yourself. And again, I'm not going to go too much into detail on this because I already have a separate video and I don't want to drag this video out too long, but just keep that in mind, that if you are a beginner lash artist, it's okay to take 4, 5, 6, 8 hours on a model. It's okay to take that long because it's part of it, you know, to be able to lash 90%. No, actually, as a beginner, to be able to lash at least 50% of your client's natural lashes, it's hard, you know, it's hard to be able to get that amount of coverage within 3-4 hours. It's not possible, you know. If you are still struggling how to make a fan, you're still struggling to place a classic lash, it's not gonna happen. So don't be too hard on yourself thinking that you're a bad lash artist because you're still taking 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, you know. Even me, that I've been lashing for 4 years, it still takes me 3 to 4 hours for like an advanced styling. For something more simple, yeah, it takes me roughly around 2 to 3 hours, but again, that is with me making sure that everything's on point. I'm isolating the way I'm supposed to, I'm placing this the way I'm supposed to, I'm making sure that everything is good, my glue is working its best, like, and a lot of things go into play on how overall how long you're gonna take. So I'm gonna be making a video all about glues after this video, so if you guys see me wearing the same thing, it's because I have the time right now to be able to record content for you guys. So in that video, I'm going to be talking about why your glue is not drying, why it's not working, why you're struggling with the glue. So if you are interested, I'm going to have the link down below. So again, a bunch of this stuff that I'm talking about, I already have videos on it, or I'm going to have videos on it and go more into detail about it. But a lot of things play into account of why you're taking so long, especially as a beginner. I don't expect you to come into this and expect to do a full 100% coverage set in under an hour. It's not possible. And if somebody is telling you, if there is a lash artist out there telling you you need to do your sets in an hour, you're a bad lash artist, then just don't even listen to that person. I would just turn the other way and not even bother listening to that person, because to be able to do a full set in an hour, it's not possible. If you're doing a set in an hour, I can guarantee you it's not 100% coverage. Lashes are being stuck together, the glue is not drying fast enough, so you're gonna get stickies. It's bad work. I know that was very blunt. I know it's very blunt, but it's not possible. I have experience. I can sit here and do a full beautiful set in 2 to 3 hours with perfect isolation placement, all the lashes are lashed, and still not be able to do it in an hour. Like, there's just no possible way that me as a professional can sit here and do a full set in an hour. It's not possible unless you are not caring about the integrity of your lashes, you are getting lashes stuck together, it's a lot of glue, and you're not lashing 100%. I can guarantee you that that's the only way you're going to be able to lash under an hour. So my point is don't be too stuck on your time. Don't be too stuck on it thinking that you're a bad lash artist because you're taking 4, 5, 6 hours. It's okay to struggle. It's okay to take your time and make sure that everything is good. But again, I'm going to have the link for that video here all about timing, because I don't want to get too much into it. So I know I look different because I was blonde in that video. Okay, and lastly, the last thing I want to say to finish off this video, because I know it's been dragging out a little too long and I've been kind of rambling about a lot of things, and I probably will end up cutting a lot of stuff out just because, one, rather I already have a video on it, or two, I over talked about that part. But the last thing I want to mention is to continue your education. Don't come into this thinking that you only need one training and that's it. You don't need to pay for a training because you can learn it on your own, or you feel like you know it all and that's it, that's all you need to know. No, continue your education. Within a year or 2 years, invest in another training to level up in your lash skills. There's always room for improvement. I've been 4 years in, and just 2 months ago I took another advanced training. I already know how to do mega volume. I don't need another mega volume training because I know how to do mega volume, but the technique of how that girl does her mega volume fans, I really wanted to learn that. If you guys don't know, there's so many ways on how to create fans. You have the flower bouquet, the shimmy, the flower in a cup, you have the pinching, you have the fanning on a strip. You see, there's a lot of ways to make a fan, and for you to come into this thinking that you only need to learn one way on how to do lash extensions, you're gonna have a hard time. So don't be afraid to invest in more training and watch as many YouTube videos as you can. Go on TikTok, go on Instagram, and just learn as much as you can, you know, save as much as you can to be able to take more advanced trainings, and don't be afraid to invest in more. There's business things you need to know, how to improve your speed, like there's social media tips, like there is so much information out there on how to be able to grow your business, how to build a clientele. Like those are things that you can learn on your own long term, or you can take a training and learn it right then and there. That way you can start building up your business faster, you know. So what I'm trying to say is, don't be afraid to invest. Your education is very, very important, and take the time to learn as much as you can, practice as much as you can, give yourself the time to learn and make those mistakes. Don't be afraid to struggle, because as a beginner you are going to struggle. So give yourself that fighting chance to be able to actually succeed, and don't be afraid to make those mistakes and learn from it. That way you can build and grow your business faster. So I think that is pretty much it. Again, I have so much content and information here on my YouTube channel, and also follow me on Instagram and TikTok, because there are a lot of things that I probably missed. Also check out my podcast, because I go more into detail on building your mindset to become a successful lash artist. And honestly, that's all it takes to be successful, is to come in with a positive mindset, come into this with high expectations, and don't be afraid to make mistakes, and don't be afraid to fail, because in order for you to make it, you need to fail time and time and time again. I'm 4 years in and I'm still failing in a lot of things, more in like business wise, but those are things that I need to learn to be able to build my business, you know. But again, I'm 4 years in and I'm still making mistakes, I'm still learning, I'm still failing, but I am still willing to push past all that and grow, you know. There are times where I'm crying my butt off, I'm losing so much hair because I'm so stressed out, but it's a beautiful thing being able to create my own brand and know that this all happened because I didn't give up in the beginning, you know. And it's very emotional. Every time I think about it, I'm like, wow, like to think that I'm training and I'm helping, you know, thousands and thousands of people all across the world from my YouTube channel, and you know, online trainings, and now I'm coming out with my own product line, and all because I decided to give myself a fighting chance. All because I had this little dream of becoming a little lash artist, because I saw Instagram videos and I was like, wow, you know, being a lash artist looks so cool, you know, and I decided to go for it. And 4 years in, here I am, you know, talking to you, and this wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for me taking a chance on myself, you know. And that is something that you have to do for yourself, if not for yourself, for your family, or for honestly yourself. That's the only person that you need to prove right and show yourself that you're more than capable of doing anything you want in life, you know. And being a lash artist is just the beginning, and You're not gonna get there if you give up within a month, because honestly the first 2 months are the hardest. So don't be too hard on yourself when you feel like a failure, because you're doing something right if you feel like you're failing. Just keep that in mind. You're doing something right if you feel like you're failing. So I should make that into merch. That is such a good quote. Okay, so just keep killing it, guys. Honestly, that's what my podcast is about. Lash&Beauty is killing it, because you need to be killing it every day. You need to be giving life your best, and being a lash artist is not easy, so just go out there and give it your best, okay? So that is pretty much it for this video. I know it dragged out a little too long, so I'm going to try to cut it and make it a little bit shorter. But if you guys made it to the end, thank you guys so much for watching, and it means the world to me that you guys continue to support me. And obviously, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe, because you guys don't want to miss out on future content, and you guys don't want to miss out on the video where I actually talk about my membership that's coming out, where you get 50% off everything. Okay guys, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.